Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to do another velocity banking review. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but I may or may not be rich in real life, but I at least play a rich person on YouTube. And as a rich person on YouTube, I've noticed that money isn't really taboo for me anymore. I got plenty of it. It's like having plenty of water. When you have plenty of water and you don't live in an area with a drought, do you really get obsessed with water? No, it's the same thing with money, right? The moment I step outside my house, I'm like, well, I got plenty of bills, or I'm sorry, plenty of dollar bills in my pocket, and I have over $527,000 in credit cards and lines of credit, right? So I got plenty to keep me afloat. But a lot of people are ashamed to talk about it. And I asked ChatGPT, why is that, right? Why are we afraid to talk about this? Very interesting.
Talking about money is often taboo in society due to a mix of cultural, psychological, and social reasons. 1. Cultural norms. Many cultures view money as a private matter. Discussing it openly can be seen as impolite, boastful, or invasive. 2. Social comparisons. Conversations about money often invite comparisons that can create feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, or resentment. People may avoid the topic to sidestep discomfort or judgment. 3. Emotional ties to money. Money is closely tied to self-worth, security, and identity. Talking about it can make people feel vulnerable, exposing fears or insecurities. 4. Power dynamics. Discussions about money can highlight power imbalances, such as disparities in wealth, which can strain relationships or create tension. 5. Lack of education. Many people lack financial literacy and may avoid discussing money for fear of exposing gaps in their knowledge. 6. Stigma around wealth and poverty. Society often stigmatizes both extremes, wealth as greed or selfishness, and poverty as failure or laziness. This creates hesitancy to discuss finances openly. Encouraging open, non-judgmental conversations about money can help break down these taboos and foster greater financial awareness and well-being.
That's a great explanation. And I think it's interesting about this part about power dynamics because I don't know if you ever heard this or not about people who didn't have a lot of money and then they made a lot more money within a short period of time and it created strained relationships or tension. Kind of screwed up, right? But that's kind of what money does to people. But in reality, money is just a tool. Like you have plenty of it. It's like water. Like you're not going to be obsessed with it unless like you're a water engineer. And because I'm a quote financial whatever engineer, right? Velocity banking engineer will make up a title. Everything's an engineer nowadays. Sanitation engineer, spreadsheet engineer, Excel engineer. Uh, because this is what I do on YouTube. I'm kind of obsessed with it, but the moment I leave my house, I'm like, I don't even care because I got plenty of it. It's like having plenty of water bottles in your fridge. You don't. Once you have paid off your debt, especially, then you won't really care about money that much anymore. Here's the thing: make some money, but as you make more money, there's two things that like impede you from being able to use it. Number one is taxes, right? So the thing about taxes is that the more money you make, every additional I don't know how to say it, like every additional money that you make, you get taxed more, right? They call it marginal tax brackets or whatever. Okay, and so and also, here's the thing: if you make more money, you become a target to banks, right? Because banks don't lend money to people who don't have it. So if you're making $10,000 a month, you'll notice that you're going to get all these flyers in the mail about how you need to open up a credit card, get a personal loan, right? Because banks love people who make a lot of money. They're just hoping that you're bad at managing it. That's kind of the danger of having money without really being able to manage it, which is what velocity banking is about. In fact, I've had people, okay, I think I've had three people email me 10 grand, made income over 10 grand, and they're still broke because they did what I'm showing you here, right? So you ever see a person, and I've seen at least three people like this where they got plenty of debt. They got, let's say, 10 credit cards. They got an auto loan. They got another auto loan. They got a student loan. They got a mortgage. So how many debts do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 debts, and they're making plenty of money and they're still broke. That's where the bank wants you at. Because the bank only makes money if you don't pay off your debt too quickly. Do you know that? Like, let's say that I have a 30-year mortgage, okay? And let me just kind of go right here. So, bank rate, loan amortization. Let's say I have a 30-year mortgage, all right? And then now, in that 30-year mortgage, we get it at 6% interest rate. Look at that. We paid almost double, or pretty much double for that loan, right? And if we do like an investor loan at 8%, take a look at that. So you thought you were just buying a house for $330,000, but you're paying twice, almost twice for that loan, or even more than twice, right? Like you do 9.4%. Let me do 9.4. That literally is a 200% loan. Like the interest is 200% on a 9.4% interest loan. And the thing is, if you pay that early, the interest will be substantially less, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about paying off debt as we make more money. Now we're not talking about money making strategies because there's plenty of ways to make money, right? We have to do what we call understanding our market, and that's true of any good or service. See, here's the thing, and here's why a lot of people fail with making money, because they don't understand the marketplace. And a lot of people, especially my generation, were brainwashed that you should just do the thing that you like to do and that'll somehow make you money, rather than understanding, hey, sell a good or product that the marketplace wants, right? A house is a good or product, especially in the right area, that the marketplace wants. So if you sell like a crappy home in San Francisco, that home is probably worth at least $1 million, right? Because the marketplace, even they're willing to pay $1 million for a crappy home, right? Not has nothing to do with how good that home is. It's more about what the marketplace wants, right? A lot of people have struggles with that. But anyways, so here's the thing. Let's assume that we have good income and we almost have the same amount of expenses, 1 penny left over. What's the issue here? Too many debts, and we're doing something called income segregation, meaning the moment that our income hits our checking account, we split it in many different ways, especially because of debt, right? And what we're trying to do is put our income into one place, right? We're not going to segregate our income. And if we pay off our debt in the right order, we can pay it off relatively quickly, relatively easily, and save a lot of interest in no time, right? So what we're going to do here is assume that we have the same income and we have absolutely no savings, right? So same income, no savings. And this is the part that a lot of people struggle with, because what are people trained to do? Save money. That's kind of like the roadway to wealth, especially according to Dave Ramsey, right? What's his first baby step? Save $1,000 in an emergency fund. Save $1,000, which we're not going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to apply all of our debt into a line of credit. Okay, so all of our debt, I'm sorry, all of our income into a line of credit. So we're going to do something called velocity banking. And all velocity banking is dumping all of your income into debt with the help of a line of credit. That's all it is, right? So at the end of the month, right, we should have zero in our savings account. And what we're going to do is create something called cash flow, even though, okay, even though we have no savings. And a lot of people are like, how can you not have savings? That is an irresponsible thing. Well, it depends, right? So if you take a look here, I always show this all the time. Beginning balance is zero, ending balance is zero, and then we're good, right? Beginning is zero, ending is zero, and but we're applying all of our money into debt. Okay, all of our money into debt. Now let's just assume, for the purposes of this demonstration, that we have access. Actually, this is the wrong one. We have access to a $150,000 line of credit. Now, like I said before, in many other videos, this is not going to happen. Like if you apply for a line of credit today with 1 penny left over, no one's going to give it to you, right? Because you have to be an empathetic person, and an empathetic person to the bank. A lot of people can't do this because they're like, screw the bank, I only get what I want to get, right? And because they think that way, they wonder why the bank won't loan them money, right? Like have you ever had anybody say to you, like, here's the deal, I just want to take money from you and not pay you back and tell me and say, hey, you should loan me money. Like a lot of people are like that. It's crazy. Like a lot of people are like that, where it's like they have this selfish behavior and they don't understand that the way that you have to present yourself is in a manner in which the bank can actually make money off of you. And the bank can't make money off of you if you got 1 penny left over in savings. Okay? So I'm just going to say that as a caveat. But if we understand this strategy, we're going to actually understand that we'll never get here in the first place. Okay? Because there's a big advantage of learning this before you ever get into debt. And I say this as a person who used to make 20 grand a year, doing all this like learning velocity banking without ever a chance of thinking like, hey, I'm actually going to be able to buy a home. And then I did buy a home and I paid it off in about 2 years and 9 months. And if you don't believe me, take a look here. Pause this video, just look at it, and you can just see like, hey, I actually paid off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. Total amount due 0, lien position 1, right? 2 years and 9 months. And so let me go back here. Okay, so how do we create cash flow? And let me ask this: what's a line of credit? We always have to go over the basics because all success is just practicing basics over and over again, right? That's all success is. A line of credit is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay back, and use it over and over again. So if you got a credit card, that's a line of credit, but there's personal lines of credit and home equity lines of credit, right? And the cool thing about a home equity line of credit or a personal line of credit is that you can borrow money. So let's say you got $80 due on your home equity line of credit bill. You can borrow that $80 from the home equity line of credit and put it back and your payment satisfied. It is so flexible, you can use it for anything. Anything. And why didn't I know this? Is probably because money was taboo. Talking about money, talking about banking products. Probably why you have to go to this channel to figure out what's going on, because probably in your own personal circle, nobody wants to talk about it. It's taboo, right? Even ChatGPT knows that it's taboo for a mix of cultural, psychological, and social reasons. And so, all right, so let's go ahead and do this. And let's maximize this thing called cash flow. And what's the easiest way to maximize this thing called cash flow? Move your short-term loans and credit cards into the line of credit. That's like the cheat code, right? So if we move these 10 credit cards into the line of credit, that's $142,000 of credit card debt, 142,000, right? And then what happens when we move $142,000 of credit card debt into the line of credit? Well, this becomes zero. So the 10 credit cards go to zero. And now our cash flow literally turned from a penny to $4,489.17. How do we do that? A lot of times I show this and it's like, hey, I can't make this up because this is Excel doing the math, not me. You know what I mean? I am making this up. I'm just doing it with Excel. So, and then the last step is you put your entire pay into that line of credit, meaning just make an overpayment. So instead of making the minimum payment like $80, make a payment of $9,000 whatever, right? And then as you're going throughout the month, take your expenses out of the line of credit. And then after every single month, your cash flow will be used to reduce the balance of your debt in the line of credit. So easy. It's so easy, right? So now we just got to do these formulas, and I do the same formulas every single time in every single video. Next month's balance, next month's interest, or next month's balance is based on the previous month's interest, previous month's balance minus whatever our cash flow number is, 4489.17. Okay, and then we take the interest, which is based on the average daily balance. So I'm going to go ahead and take the average daily balance, right? And then multiply it by the interest rate, which is 0.08, and then divide by 12 because they always tell you the annual interest rate and then they calculate it monthly. So Control C, and then all we got to do is see that, hey, after every single month, it's going down about 4,000 plus the interest, right? So you got to add the interest. The interest is no bueno, but we're trying our best to minimize it by dumping all of our cash into that line of credit, lowering the average daily balance, and then rinsing and repeating over and over again. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? This thing. All right, so let's see if I can do this actually correctly. All right, there we go. Control C. Man, why is it going there? This thing's going crazy on me. All right, there we go. So, month 36, that was easy. And then you divide by 12. I'm sorry, so almost in about 3 years, we paid off all the credit cards. So 36 months, 36 months, $142,000 in credit cards paid off. That's our milestone, right? So we did that, and then let me copy and paste here. And then what we do is we got to figure out what the balances of these are, right? So the auto loan, student loan, mortgages, and now we have a loan calculator to figure out what the current balances are. So I just got to plug in the loan calculator. So we got the loan calculator right here, ta-da! And then we just put in the month, 36, 36, 36, 36, right? And then we see right here that we got the current balances of loans, and we could just pay them off and get this as cash flow, move them to the line of credit. See how easy that is? And so what we do is we use a number called the cash flow index to help us figure out what loans we move into our line of credit, and anything under 50 usually is a good candidate for moving into line of credit. And so let me just go in here and let me just do this, Control V, Control paste. Okay, so now plus 16315.14, right? And then once we do that, what's our new cash flow? It's 00, right? And actually, let me just check quickly. Yeah, I think that's right. All right. So now our new cash flow is $5,233.78. Okay. So let me just do Control V. All right. So now it's 5233.78. And we see that in one, two, let's say 3 more months, it's all paid off. Wow, that was really easy. No need to make debt, paying off debt really that taboo, right? And talking about money. That was so easy. So 39 months. So 39 months. We got two. In 3 months, we paid off 2 car loans. So it's 142 plus 13 plus 23. And then it'll be 178K. All right. So now in 39 months, we got the student loan, and the auto loan. And so now the balances are 0. And we can, so we see the student loan here, cash flow index a little bit above 50, but it's still a pretty decent candidate for paying off because the balance is relatively low. So let's go ahead and do this, and we'll move this 29 grand into the line of credit. And we're just going to go ahead and do here, do this, plus 29,716.23, right? And so when we do that, okay, the student loan goes to 0, the payment goes to 0, and you get an extra 400 whatever in cash flow. So let's go ahead, copy and paste this, and now our cash flow is 5687.97. Okay. And then you can see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 6 months, that student loan's paid off. 45 months, okay. So 45 months to pay off, I think it's at 228, so 40 plus 178, so 218K. And now is the mortgage. So let's just do this, 45 months. And now we see that in 45 months, we paid off about 25K of this loan, right? So 45 months, we paid off 25K, okay? So you see that right here, and look at the interest we paid. Okay, now let's just do a quick comparison that if we move this into the line of credit, approximately how long will it take to pay it off? And we treat 30-year mortgages very differently from other loans because if you take a look at this cash flow index right here, if you move it into a line of credit, especially at a different interest rate that's higher, you're going to end up paying a lot more interest than you have to because there's not a lot of cash flow that comes from paying off that loan. Just remember that, okay? Just remember that. So let me go back here and let's just kind of do a quick test of if we move 25,000 into the line of credit, how long would it take to pay it off, right? So let's just do this, do this. Whoa, it only took 1, 2, 3, 4. So it only literally took only 4 months to pay off 25K when we moved into the line of credit, right? But here's the most important thing. We don't do this first, we do this last, right? Because of this, the easiest way to figure out is that cash flow index number. If you move this into the line of credit, you're going to lose a lot of money, much more than you have to. But ironically, even if the line of credit interest is higher, the cash, if you do the chunking method, you could still pay it off quickly, not segregate your income and make it easy for you to pay off, right? So let me go ahead and do this. And we're going to just do the 25K chunk one more time, right? Again, this is kind of like cowboy math because you're still making the monthly payment. So this isn't a 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, another 4 months. Look at that. Look how easy that is. So in 8 months, we literally paid off 50K. Dang, that was easy. All right, so let me just pull out the velocity banking calculator. All right, here's the velocity banking calculator. And all you gotta do is just put in the numbers. And just kind of a quick plug, I got this from Renatus, and this is where I originally learned velocity banking from. So if you don't know what Renatus is, it's an educational company. Full disclosure, I do make commission off of selling their products. Whoopsie, just got interrupted. So back to where I was talking about Renatus and velocity banking. So full disclosure, I actually get commission from selling their educational products, and one of the reasons why I created this YouTube channel is kind of like to lead people to buy Renatus, but I probably need to go a little bit more in depth into it. But back to my point, okay? So you just type it in and you can see how easily it pays off. And one of the things you don't want to do, and as I said before, is you don't want to replace your mortgage with the line of credit because you end up paying a lot more interest here. So even though this is 3.9 years, look at how much interest we pay. We pay 45 grand, whereas if we do little chunks, 10 grand, we end up paying a lot less, right? So 3.5 years. Okay, so where did I get? So I'm right here, 3.5 years. So now, so 45 divided by 12 plus 3.5. So that's 7.25 years. Debt free. Wow, that was easy. I can't believe it. And how much was that? So this is now zero. So it's two. So that's 518K of debt, right? 518K of debt. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of cash flow. That's an insane amount of cash flow. And again, once you get to this point where all you got a lot of cash flow, a lot of money, then money hopefully won't be taboo to you. Um, I know when people struggle with money, it certainly is taboo because there's a sense of shame. But when you got plenty of water, aka money, you don't become too obsessed with it, right? Like you don't. Have you ever become? Is there anybody on the planet who becomes obsessed with finding water if they have so much to drink from, right? It doesn't make sense. All right, well, that's it for today. That was easy. Just a quick velocity banking review. Have a great day, everybody, and I got to make more videos. Make more videos. All right. Good night, everybody. Well, not even good night. It's actually 2:30 something, 1:30 for me. I don't even know. What plan am I on? I don't know. All right, this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship, everybody. Have a great day.